Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the live stream Friday night Q&A live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin. We'll talk about the news, what's going on in the cryptocurrency world, and I'm going to do some demos for you. I'm going to move some crypto around, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the ledger interface, which I think a lot of people struggle with. So jump right in and join me. Let's get started. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me tonight. Bitcoin has been on a tear for the last couple weeks, last week especially, but really the ones that are outshining Bitcoin are the altcoins. They've had quite a run up. In my opinion, they were undervalued. The price had been beat down pretty bad. So there's a lot of room for some upwards action. That's my opinion. You know, they're way off their all-time highs, of course, but they have sort of come up from their bottoms, which is encouraging. So I've got some other news for you guys. I'm going to greet everybody that's here, and we'll get started. And I've got an answer for Shah, who asked some questions before. So let's jump in. Where are we here? Let's go over here. First of all, Great Caper and Randy are here, and Shah. That's good news. Good to see you guys. Let's pop out chat. And we'll go over to this story here. The long and short of it, Shah, is that the coins, if you're holding Ethereum, don't worry. Your coins are fine. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to become, they're not going to lose their value. They're not going to like die. I mean, it wouldn't be much of a coin if an upgrade made your coin worthless, right? So there's no reason to worry. Ethereum 2.0 addresses some issues with mining and how new coins are created and a lot of back-end stuff. But if you're holding Ethereum, the Ethereum that you have is going to be upgraded to 2.0 automatically, right? As far as I know, right? I looked through this entire article. I didn't see anything about your Ethereum losing value. Worst case scenario, you'll have to exchange it for Ethereum 2.0. But even then, it's not going to be a problem for you. A lot of ERC20 tokens upgraded themselves to their own blockchain like Tron, and in those cases there was a swap involved where usually cryptocurrency exchanges would support it. If you deposited it in a cryptocurrency exchange and then withdrew it again using from your Tron wallet, it became real full-scale Tron. Ethereum, you probably won't even have to do that, so I wouldn't freak out. All right. So, all right. So let's launch the Brave browser. Oh, and by the way, before I get too far into it, I invite you to check out the description of this video. So just check out down below. You'll see some of my affiliate links. You'll see some cool links to stuff you might enjoy, and links to all the news stories that I'm going to cover tonight. And then below that are a bunch of links to my most popular Ledger Nano videos. There's some Ledger Nano S, there's some Ledger Nano X. I've been doing Ledger videos, almost, I think more than 3 years now. Well, we're coming up on my third year. I started in May of 2017. So in May of 2020, I'll have my 3-year anniversary. So I've done quite a few videos during that time. So a lot of good links down in my description. And I'd like to do a shout out for Crypto.com. They're doing another one of their listing events where they do a special listing on a cryptocurrency. And this time it's Bitcoin. Now you need to be a whale. First of all, you're going to have some CRO staked in their platform. So, 10,000 20,000, 50,000 CRO. So as you get higher, you're talking about some big bucks, but you will be qualified for a great discount on Bitcoin during this listing event, and that's February 4th. So I invite you guys to check it out. All right, so let's check out. Let's see where we were there. Oh, first story, right? Let's do that. Let's go over here. Let's see if I can. Oh, wrong browser. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Let's check it out. Nothing like Forbes to put a damper on a good run-up, right? So Bitcoin hits a fresh 2020 high. Bulls warned of potential crash, right? Oh God, Bitcoin's going to crash again. Everybody's worried that Bitcoin's going to crash again because it's approaching 10,000 mark, I guess. So that's really the story. The story is that Bitcoin has hit fresh all-time highs for 2020. And that's really good news, I think. Bitcoin is sort of shedding all of the naysayers. Bitcoin used to be very volatile in terms of negative press. Whenever somebody important wrote an article bashing Bitcoin, you know, the cryptocurrency market would shudder. But Bitcoin seems to be much more resilient these days to the bashers out there. And I got a great basher article for you guys tonight. So, but let's take a look at where Bitcoin is and has been over the last few days, last week or so. Let's look at our crypto coinmarket.cap. We can see that Bitcoin is at 93.75. So it's pretty much recovered from that pullback. I think it got up. Let's look at the 7-day. So yeah, so I guess the pullback was down to about 92.34, and so now we're back up around 93.79. We got as high as we broke 95 within the last 24 hours, right? We've kind of been on this steady climb, right? So our peak was 95 something, and now we're back to 93.79. So we're not that far off the highest peak of the last week. So we're really not doing too bad. But let me show you another chart, which I think you'll find very interesting. That is the Ethereum chart. Now, if you look at Ethereum, let's look at the Ethereum chart. Let's look at the 1 month chart for Ethereum. All right. Yeah. Let's look at our low here. 136. As we started off the year, Ethereum was in the 136 range, right? And then we got up to about 176. And we've been steadily climbing, and I believe, yeah, we were at 185 like about 8 hours ago, right? So Ethereum has been on a tear. We're at 179 right now. So the altcoins have really been shining. XRP not so much. Litecoin, Binance Coin. Let's take a look at Binance Coin. We can look at Binance Coin over the last 7 days. Let's look at it over a month. Okay, so we're Binance Coin at the beginning of our year. We're looking at around $13, right? And Binance Coin has gone up to about 18. Yeah, I could have sworn, yeah, almost $19. So not quite a doubling, but pretty darn close, right? From $13 all the way up to, I guess, 26 would be the doubling, right? So we're not looking at a total. We're looking at about a 60, 70%, if my math is correct, right? So the altcoins have really been shining. And then also, let's take a look, while we're talking about altcoins, let's take a look at our old friend Monero, right? Privacy coins were getting quite a beating in late last year due to a lot of delistings and regulatory concerns over privacy coins not being KYC compliant, know your customer compliant, right? Because they're anonymous, right? So privacy coins were taking quite a beating. So let's look at 3 months on Monero. Let's just take a look. Here we were back in November. Okay, here's our low, right? About $47. Thought it was even lower than that. Right about $44 for Monero, right back in mid-December, right? And then look at since January. We've got Monero climbing all the way as high as, what do we got here? 73.83, up from 43, whatever it was, right down here, right? So we've got a big recovery for Monero and the other privacy coins. So just goes to show you, people want privacy. And even though there were some regulatory concerns and some exchanges delisted it, that doesn't make it worthless, right? People still want it. So pretty cool story. So anyway, that's where we are with the market. So we're looking at this article here. I invite you to check it out down in the description, where there's a little bit of technical analysis about where Bitcoin is going. All right. And then the next article that I have on the list here. This is a great little article. Comes to us from CNBC, the mainstream of mainstreams. And they're actually, I think this story was picked up by several different outlets. I'm not sure if it was who actually said this. TD Ameritrade, whoever it was. So they're advising people that it's okay to include Bitcoin in their portfolio. And that's really cool. I mean, that's a big jump. Now, interestingly, they're only recommending 1% of your portfolio towards Bitcoin, which, I mean, I guess that would be the most conservative allocation of your assets, right? So where is it that they... Yeah, here we are. So let's say you're a normal investor. And let me just also point out that there are not a lot of people out there, day-to-day kind of people like you and me, that have stock and bond portfolios, right? I'd say probably, like 10% of the people have stock portfolios. And a lot of people will go, oh, well, people have IRAs, and so they're invested in the stock market through their IRAs. Yeah. But I mean, really, the people that are really holding stocks and bonds are up there. But anyway, I digress. So here we go. We want 60% of our portfolio in stocks and 40% in bonds, right? So now they're saying, oh, well, you could take out 1%, from the stocks and put that in Bitcoin, right? Now, if you're a multimillionaire, that's not a bad little chunk of Bitcoin. But if you're just a regular guy, 1% of Bitcoin isn't that much. And I guess, the idea with cryptocurrencies is that, it's possible you could lose your entire investment. So that's why they're recommending such a small percentage. But I think millennials are a little more risk averse and would probably put more into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies than just 1% of their portfolio, right? But it's really cool that we've got a mainstream organization here telling us it's okay to own Bitcoin, right? Because before they were all about, Bitcoins. Okay. All right. So let's check out my favorite FUD of the week. Our favorite FUD of the week comes to us from an op-ed writer for the New York Times named Nathaniel Popper. And this is a crazy picture. I don't know why they even included this picture in this article, right? But look at the opening article. the last few months have not been good for Bitcoin. What is that statement based on? When we look at where Bitcoin was and where it is today, that's not a very accurate statement, right? So, but that's how the article starts off. And then the value of digital tokens has steadily dropped. Okay, where did we see that in our chart when we looked at it? Let's look at Bitcoin again one more time, just so we'll know, you know, we're not crazy here, but let's look at the 3-month chart for Bitcoin. Does that look like a steady drop to you? We had a little bit of a drop down in November, right? But since November, the end of November, it's been a steady rise. So the author of this article doesn't appear to have his facts straight. Bitcoin trading on cryptocurrency exchanges has slowed. Now, I don't know where he's getting that either. He's not providing any references, right? And then the kicker, and using Bitcoins to buy legal items, that also has dropped, right? He's got figures somewhere, right? But one corner of the Bitcoin economy is still going strong, the sale of illegal drugs and other types of law breaking. You know, I thought that they had really exhausted all of their breath on telling us that Bitcoin is only for criminals, because I don't think anybody's buying that line anymore. So why, you know, as this writer that works for the New York Times decided to, on January 29th, release another Bitcoin bashing article. Now, I'll point out one thing about this article, this website. There's no comments, right? I can't stand it when they write articles and there's no comments section, right? And the reason they do that is because they don't want people calling their BS, right? They don't want to have to deal with people reading an article on their website and then looking down and seeing all the people going, your article's full of, you know, you're not basing any of this on facts. They don't want to have anybody below the article like logically tearing their arguments to pieces, right? So they don't have comments anymore. But I did, usually when people write these articles, I'll go check out their Twitter feed, right? And figure out, because people, when they post articles, they'll generally tweet that they've posted an article, and then people will bash their article on Twitter. Where was that? Here we go. Yeah, here it is. So here he is. So each time I guess he means the New York Times, as if he's some kind of, you know, anyway. Each time we write about Bitcoin and online drug markets, we hear lots from Bitcoin folks who say the topic is not worthy of coverage and is blown out of proportion. It seems worth explaining how I think about this. So a thread, right? So he goes on and on and on and on explaining why, you know, he feels like his article is worthy. And then I looked at all of that and said to myself, methinks thou doth protest too much, right? So why is he like having to defend himself so vigorously after he wrote this article? Now, there are a few people, if you scroll down far, where, you know, they're basically explaining to him that, you know, and the argument here, the main argument, when you talk about illegal transactions, is that Bitcoin is like less than 1% of illegal transactions. Cash is used so prevalently. 500 billion in annual drug trade, in Bitcoin only around 0.5 to the latest numbers, right? The dollar is responsible for more illegal transactions than Bitcoin. Plain and simple, right? But he's like, oh, well, just because Bitcoin is small, that doesn't mean we shouldn't point out that people use it for illegal purposes, right? You don't see people screaming from the rooftops to, you know, do away with cash because criminals use it, right? So anyway, I put links to all of these on, you know, down in the description. So if you want to read more about what people, you know, replied back about this article, The New York Times has lost steam. Their sad excuse for op-ed contributors have never learned the meaning of harm reduction or sound money. You know, this is an old argument. I mean, anybody that's been around using cryptocurrencies has heard this argument time and time again. It's just getting stale. That's all. But good. Oh, and then buried in his article is the admission that, yes, Bitcoin is still popular among currency speculators, and illicit activity only accounts for 1% of all Bitcoin transactions. So the headline is very misleading. And, you know, the truth comes buried a few paragraphs down that, you know, 1% of Bitcoin is used for illegal transactions. Anyway. All right, let me greet everybody here. Scott is here. Wonderful. Shaw, great. Danny Soto from Kansas City in the house. Thanks for joining us. Parlay Cross. Zcash is doing well. As I mentioned, that's another privacy coin. Let's see here. Linus Lewis. 1 BTC is a good goal for an average person. That's pretty cool. Yeah. EKS is here. Good to have you. All right. So let me just move on to the next article, and I won't spend too much time on the news because I wanted to go through the interface of the Ledger devices. I was doing my Patreon one-on-one or group Zoom session yesterday, and both participants were asking me about the interface on the Ledger device. It is a little bit cryptic, and it's a little bit counterintuitive, but it's not impossible to master. Okay? So, but let's check the next article I got on the agenda. Ethereum miners, ETH holdings. All right, so this is a great article about Ethereum. Shah was asking me about Ethereum earlier. Yeah. So Ethereum miners, ETH holdings near record highs, right? ETH is doing very well, as I mentioned. Price-wise, it's coming back in a big way over the last month or so. So this is a great article about the people that are mining Ethereum and you know, the amount of ETH that they're holding and how much it's worth. Mind you, as we move towards the proof of stake model, you won't be able to mine Ethereum with your GPUs. And while we're on the subject of mining, cryptocurrency mining, please be aware that cryptocurrency mining is a vast undertaking. If you want to mine a small cryptocurrency with a GPU that you already own, that's great, you know, and you can let it mine and earn you a little coin in the background, but you're not going to get rich mining cryptocurrency. It's just that ship has sailed, especially Bitcoin. And anybody that tries to tell you that you can mine Bitcoin profitably by just signing up to their website or sending them some money is full of BS. If you want to mine, let's just talk about Bitcoin mining. You have to have a rig. You have to have specialized hardware that requires a capital investment. Your electricity bills will go higher. You need to provide for cooling. You have to set aside a room in your house to set up this little farm, you know. Even if you just buy yourself one really good Bitcoin mining machine, that's going to cost you like $2,000, right? And then you're going to have to put it somewhere and let it start mining and join a mining pool and go through all that. And it might take you a year to even break even on that, right? Cryptocurrency mining is a vast undertaking. So don't let scammers try to tell you that you can get rich mining Bitcoin, right? That's pure BS. And it's pretty much the same with Ethereum. uh, and some of the lesser coins. You're not really going to get rich mining unless you invest a lot of money in the equipment, and then you've got to, you got to factor in your electricity bills and the cost of cooling and like a room in your house that you want to set aside for mining, and it's going to be noisy, it's going to sound like a vacuum cleaner. I mean, this is serious stuff, guys. If, like I said, if you just want to do a little hobbying, more power to you. But please don't believe that you're going to get rich mining cryptocurrency in this day and age, right? Maybe a small coin that is undervalued or new, and you mine a bunch of it, and then it goes back up in price, and you've mined 100, and then the price goes up to a few dollars, and you might, make your money back or whatever. But that mining Bitcoin, that ship has sailed, baby. You have to have deep pockets to do that. All right, sorry I went on a rant there. Want to mine coin? There you go, Scott. Digibyte or Zill, right? Those are the kind of coins that you can mine, hobbying, and not break your bank, and maybe make a little money on the side. And then when the price of those coins goes up, then you'll have some good pocket change to play with, right? Good point, Scott. I appreciate that. All right. Now, I want to do a deep dive. Why don't I think I'll save that one for later. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit stopped up today. I don't have coronavirus or anything like that. It's just a little common cold, if you want to call it that. All right, so what I would like to do is let's, and I don't know who all's here tonight. There's a few regulars here that have probably seen this many, many times. But I'm going to start, I'll start with the Ledger Nano S, because I think more people have the Ledger Nano S than have the Ledger Nano X. And let me go ahead and launch Ledger Live. By the way, I do have both of these connected to the computer, right, at the same time. You can manage two different ledgers on your, you can manage 3 or 4, but you just have to make sure that they're not all in the same app at the same time. Right? Let's go through here. Okay, so this is the Ledger Live interface, which is the way to manage your cryptocurrencies that are being stored on these devices. Now, the cryptocurrencies aren't actually stored on the device. The private keys are stored on the device. Private keys allow you to manipulate your addresses that are on the blockchain. But a lot of people fall afoul with this little device with the way the menu works. And they get a little bit confused because there's a little dance that you have to do between the device and the computer screen, right? And so a lot of times, one of the things I've seen people fall victim to is they get into the app, the Bitcoin app, and then they sort of get lost because they get into the app and then they think they're supposed to do something else on the device, and then they start diving down into the sub-menus, and then they get stuck in the sub-menu and they can't seem to get out of it. And really, all you need to do if you want to manage your Bitcoin is just go into the app, and that's it. You don't have to like start messing around in the Bitcoin settings or anything like that. So, but let me show you. Oh, and by the way, one thing that this device will not do, pardon me, this device will not show you your Bitcoin balance on this little screen. It doesn't work like that. I get a lot of questions about that. Why can't I see how much Bitcoin I have on here? It doesn't. You have to use accounts on the software, right, for that. All right, so let's go into, here we go. I got one account that's attached to this Ledger Black, right? It's empty. There's nothing in there right now. But let's go over here. And I'm going to pull this guy in close. Oops. All right, we'll do this. Whoops. Oops. Oh. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're looking at a ledger device. This is the Ledger Nano S, and this is what we would call the home screen, right? So if we want to manage our Bitcoin, we need to get into the Bitcoin app, right? So for example, if I want to do a receive, I'm going to move this over so you can see the entire screen, right? So if we want to do a receive, we go into receive, and then it asks us to choose which account, which it's pre-selected there. Now it's telling us what to do right there. It's telling us connect and unlock the ledger device. The device is connected and it's unlocked. What's the next thing it wants me to do? It says open the Bitcoin app on your device. So I'm going to do that by pressing both buttons. Whenever you have a menu choice in front, in the middle of the screen, hitting both buttons will choose that option, right? So if I hit both buttons, I go into the Bitcoin app. And there, it says application is ready, right? That's it. That's all I need to do. Now, the next thing I need to do is hit continue on my screen, right? And then it says I need to hit continue again on my screen. Then it's going to present me with a Bitcoin address that it wants me to verify. Now it's showing me 1/3 of that address because the screen is too small to show the entire Bitcoin address. Now this button here is above that little arrow. The little arrow indicates you need to move to the next screen. And in this case, you don't hit both buttons. You only hit one button. You hit the button above the arrow to move to the next screen. Now we're at 2/3 of the Bitcoin address, right? We're matching it to the one that they show us on the screen, right? And then we move to the next screen and we see the end of the address. RRZFN, right? That's what it shows on my screen. Now I need to move one more, and now it says approve, right? Approve is what I want, and so I hit both buttons to approve. And that's all I have to do to receive. Now I have a receiving address that I can use to send to a friend or an exchange to get some Bitcoin sent to my wallet. Now here's what people do. They get into the Bitcoin app, right? And then they go, they think they're not done. Boy, my nose won't stop running. Pardon me, guys. And because they think they're not done, they hit this button, right? And then they go over here to settings. And then they say, oh my God, how do I get out of settings? I can't get out of settings. I keep moving back and forth and I'm stuck in a loop. What do I do? What do I do? All right. So first of all, we can go back one, application is ready, and just do what we got to do, right? Now here's another thing people want to, and then when you're done with Bitcoin, you just use the right arrow, you go past version until you get to quit, and then you hit both buttons, and it takes you out of the Bitcoin app so that you can manage your other cryptocurrencies like Monero. I only have Monero and Bitcoin on here at the moment, right? But people go into Bitcoin and then they think, oh, I'm not done, right? And so they move over here, then they go into settings, then they hit both buttons again, and then they get into this. And they're going, now what do I do, right? They go into public key export, and it says manual approval, auto approval. What should I do? What should I do? You don't have to do anything, right? Just let it stay with its default, right? Just go to back, hit both buttons, right? Now you're here, go to back again. You need to back out. You were 3 levels down. Now you're only 1 level down, right? So that's your key. Go to back, hit both buttons, and it'll take you up a level in the menu, right? And then when you get to this level, you'll move over to quit. And then you can quit and pull yourself back out to the Bitcoin level. Pretty simple, right? Now let me show you that on the Ledger Nano X, right? The newer one. Pretty much the same thing, right? So here we've got a Ledger Nano X, and the buttons are on the front, right? So if I want to go into the Bitcoin app, I go into Bitcoin, and I'm in the same interface, right? And what people will do is they'll hit this button, and they'll hit settings, and then they'll hit both buttons, and then they're in here, public key export, and then they hit both buttons again, and they think that it's trying to lead them somewhere, but it's not. You know, this auto approval and manual approval, I believe manual approval is the default. It's probably best to just leave it at its default, because that means you approve it using your buttons, right? I've never done auto approval, but it might make things quicker if you know what you're doing, but it's better to have all of the security features enabled, right? So all I need to do to get out of this is move the button, the right button, over to back, then hit both buttons, and then I'm out at the second level of the menu, right? And there's only one option, public key export. So I don't want that, so I just go over to back one more time using one button, the right button, then I hit both buttons, and I'm back out at the top level of the app, right? I'm only one level in, right? I'm in the Bitcoin app, right? So then we'll move over here to quit. We'll hit both buttons, and then we're back at Ethereum. Or I'm sorry, we're back at the home screen. Now I was going to show you Ethereum because in the old days, depending on if you were using the Ledger app or MEW, you did have to switch Ethereum settings. And some of my old videos instruct you to do that. And it was to enable or disable browser support on the Ethereum app. But that is no longer a setting because the Ledger Live app sort of acts like a browser. So you never, it's just enabled by default and there's no setting. So we'll go into that. Let's dive into Ethereum by hitting both buttons, right? Here we are, application ready. We're ready to go, right? We just go over here to accounts, go to our Ethereum, hit receive or send, depending on what we want to do, hit continue. I don't need to press any buttons on the device. I'm doing everything on my screen, right? And then I get in here, continue, and then it shows me the Ethereum address. Now, this interface is a little different. It wants me to verify the address. So the next thing it wants me to do is move over one. There's a little arrow right there. So move over one. There's that Ethereum address, right? I can verify that it matches what I see on my screen. After I've done that, I need to move over one more, and then I can hit approve. I could move over again and reject, but I don't want to reject. If they don't match, you would reject, but they most likely will match, right? Hit approve, boom, and I'm done, right? And the application is ready. Now, if I accidentally move over here to settings, and I go into settings, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? I'm stuck in settings, right? Just keep hitting the one button until you get to back, and you're back out. It's that simple. It's not that hard, right? I'm in settings. I'm in crazy settings. What do I do? Let me go back. I hit contract data. Oh my God, should I allow? Should I not? La la la. Don't worry about any of that. The defaults work just fine. If you're an advanced user and you have a reason to go into these settings, okay. Now I just used one button. I got to back. I'm there. One more time. Right? So don't panic when you get into a menu on this device and you're not sure what to do. Just keep hitting one button. Just keep moving in one direction until you find the back. Then hit both buttons to jump out a level up, right? Just like when you're on hold and you're in a menu system on the phone, you're calling the county hospital, you're trying to, tell somebody that you accidentally just cut your leg off and they're giving you menu options, and then you get to, the crisis department and they say, they give you 5 options, and then they say, if you would like to go back to the main menu, press 9. And that's called backing up a level, right? That's what back does on the ledger. It just backs you out and takes you up a level. So I hope that's clear, guys. I don't mean to harp on these things, but I take it for granted that I understand this, and I move pretty fast when we're moving crypto around. And some of my very good friends that my patrons were asking me about this last night. So I thought that it was probably a good idea to give you guys an overview of how you work those menus. Let's go over here and see. Mr. David is here. Mr. David, that was for you. That was for you, Mr. David. And Pat, wherever she is. I don't know what that's all about. Okay. Mel Lasco, hello. Scott is still here. Anybody look at the packets when attached to the Nano Ledger? Wonder if there's spyware collecting your Bitcoin data activity and sent back to Google and or Ledger. Okay, I've covered this question several times in comments, and I think on the live stream and the Bitcoin Basics that I do on Tuesday morning. Ledger devices are certified by third parties. The cryptographic elements are certified by third parties. They're also tested by third parties. And there are also people that attempt to crack them. So they're testing them too. If Ledger had some evil plan to suck all of our Bitcoin out of the device, it would be immediately detected by third-party people that are certifying these devices. They take them at random off the assembly line, or they buy them in stores or wherever they get them, and they test them to verify that they are doing what they say they're doing, right? So, I don't know. I mean, I had to say this so many times, and I get it, right? I get it. You don't trust them. They're proprietary and everything, but the secure elements in these devices are tested by third-party testers, and they are also certified by certification organizations, right? So they are not like evil plans to steal your seeds, right? When they are initialized, they generate random private keys, and from those random private keys, they generate a seed phrase for you, and that is a unique seed phrase that only you get on your device. You can reinitial this guy as many times as you want and create as many seed phrases as you want, but whatever coins you store in every configuration, you have to keep track of which ones they are. You're better off just initializing it once, backing it, writing down the seed phrase, keeping the seed phrase in a safe place, and managing your coins, right? No one is going to suck up your coin. The evil people at Ledger are not going to be sucking your coins out at some time in the future, right? I don't know. Anyway, I think I've said this several times. If people were selling lemonade and using salt instead of sugar, they wouldn't be selling very much lemonade, right? It would be painfully obvious right away. And if they got caught one time with one device that was not generating random seeds, but generating predetermined seeds, it would be painfully obvious and they would be out of business, right? So they're not doing that. I could be proven wrong at the Armageddon, right? But I doubt it. All right. I'm going to close that. I'm going to buy a little Bitcoin tonight. I haven't bought any Bitcoin in the live stream in a while. So I'm going to buy a little Bitcoin and then I'm going to put it in the Ledger wallet. So we'll do that. Let's see. Great content. I've seen your video on Elapol. Was wondering how you feel about it and how you compare it to the Ledger Nano X. Mr. is asking me about the Elapol wallet. I have it over here. It's a good, secure wallet, right? And it has this little connector on it that's magnetic, because they're telling us, oh, we're not even going to allow a USB to interface with our device, right? Uh, so it's more secure. I find it very secure, but a little inconvenient. You have to use a phone app and you scan QR codes to sign transactions, which is very secure, but a little bit inconvenient. You got to have two hands free, first of all. And then with this thing, the buttons are signing the transactions. Oh, the buttons are on the front, pardon me. Yeah, use the buttons to sign the transactions on these. Once again, the private keys are stored on these devices, encrypted inside the device, right? The private keys never leave the device, right? Sorry about that. Private keys are held securely inside the device. They are used to sign transactions. I know it sounds weird, but it's cryptography, right? A long private key is a huge number, right? They send a transaction request into the element, right? And then there's a bunch of math calculations that go. And that math calculation needs that long seed. And that long seed gets added into the calculations. And by virtue of that long seed that you possess on this device, the transaction becomes signed and verified and is sent out onto the blockchain. And that's how you control your Bitcoin, using the private key, which never leaves the device. When you initialize a device, you create an empty Bitcoin address that you can manage. It starts off empty. You can add Bitcoin in there. And once you've done that, you can check your balance. You can move Bitcoin in and out, and back and forth, and all kinds of fun stuff, right? But it all starts with that long private key that gets randomly generated when you initialize the device and stored inside the device. And that's how you manage your cryptocurrency. Desktop Bitcoin wallet stores your private key somewhere on your computer. So it's a little like Electrum wallet. So it's not quite as secure as a hardware wallet, like what we call a cold wallet, where the private keys are never exposed to the internet in any way or form. Someone said, why does Ledger Live app on my phone need my location? That seems like a security risk. What if I were a high-profile person? In theory, I could be tracked down and tortured for my BTC. Okay, that's a perfectly reasonable concern. One of the main concerns with Bitcoin in general is because of its transparent public ledger, if you're only using one receiving address and you're giving it out to all your customers, anyone that has that public address can see your balance and could, you might open yourself up to thieves, robbers, and kidnappers, right? So he wants to know why Ledger Live needs his location. I did not know that Ledger Live actually did need your location. He's talking about the phone app, so let's take a look at that. I didn't see that in settings. Let's see. Okay. I was not aware that it asked for your location data. I mean, every app on your phone pretty much wants your location. I don't know that... I don't really have an answer for this because I didn't know that it asked for your location. But that's a whole can of worms that you're pretty much, if you're carrying around a smartphone, you've got a tracking device on you for whatever. Anybody out there with the technology to sort of figure out which apps belong to you and, can track you. So I don't know. If you're worried about that, then maybe don't use the mobile version of Ledger. I don't know. I don't know if there's any way to turn off. I don't see anything in the settings that says anything about that I'm allowing it access location. Now we could look in here. And let's see here. What am I looking for? Where is privacy? Okay, so let's look. I've got location services on, of course. I don't see anything about Ledger Live in here. I think it may be in notifications. Help me out if anybody wants to. All right, we can look at all of these. Let's look at Ledger, see if Ledger Live is in here. La, 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 la. HIJKLM. Oh, okay. I don't see Ledger Live in here at all. HIJKL. It just skips straight from K to M. Yeah. I'm assuming that at some point it told you that it wanted you to allow location data when you were using your Ledger Live. I don't know, but I don't see it in here. Now I will explain something to you about the way Ledger works. A Ledger device needs to connect to the internet to interface with the Ledger servers in order to function properly. That's one of its weaknesses, right? The reason that is to verify the authenticity of the device, right? It's done cryptographically. So there is a, I believe you get a public key on your device that, or I'm not, I'm getting a little verklempt here, but there's an interface that goes on, and it's called the genuine check. I think if you've ever set up the Ledger, there's this point in time where it asks you 3 questions. You know, did you set up this device? Did you choose your own PIN? And let's do the genuine check. Well, a lot of people don't realize that almost every time you log into Ledger Live and connect your device, it does a genuine check to see if the device is working properly. So when the Ledger servers are down, the wallet is not functional. So that's one of its big weaknesses. Although that doesn't mean that your crypto is at risk if the device cannot connect to the internet. There are ways to extract the private keys from your seed phrase to gain access to your crypto. But as long as the world is still turning and we still have power and our internet connection is good, our ledgers will work just fine. That's pretty much the same weakness of every cryptocurrency wallet. If there's no internet, then you're pretty much out of luck, right? But Ledger is particular in the fact that it needs to connect to the Ledger servers, whereas other types of wallets connect directly to the blockchain, and they don't need any to connect to any proprietary service. But that is a security feature. That's built in. So I hope I didn't get too far off there. Sorry about that, Linux Lewis. I didn't know that it was asking for. It only asks once at the beginning and won't let you proceed until you allow it. Must have agreed and didn't know it. Okay, maybe I did. Yeah, I'll have to do some research on that. I have an Android, so it could be why, but still very weird to me. Yes, that is very strange. I'll have to check that. At some point, we'll maybe Google that and figure out why it's asking me. Okay, so maybe in the terms of service, possibly. They may just be using that location data for their own, what you would call it, metrics, right? So they can get an idea of where their devices are, and the information that you're sending to them is not personalized. It's sort of like when you, like there are certain applications like antivirus that you use, and they ask you, is it okay if we collect anonymous data from you? That kind of thing, so that they can it's sort of like hidden surveys, right? Surveys that you don't need to answer. And they claim, of course, they claim that the information is not tied to you personally, right? So maybe this location data that they're collecting is not tied to you personally. It's just that, okay, I know there's a ledger, there's 50 ledgers in Cleveland, you know. But I guess that data, if someone were to crack into their servers, might be used somehow to tie directly to you, and you know, then you're vulnerable to the crypto kidnappers. Not an out of the realm of possibility concern, right? As we mentioned, right? So it's a good question. It's a good point. I'll do some research on that. Maybe I can ask my rep if she can clarify that. All right, so let's buy some crypto. There were a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. We want to learn how to share and use. We want to be able to spend our crypto in the real world, right? So there aren't too many people that directly accept Bitcoin. They're out there, right? And I encourage you to find people that accept Bitcoin and work with them, right? Ask people that you know. If someone wants to pay you, I know that I had a friend of mine. He was on some kind of gambling site, and he told me, "Hey, I want some money on this game I bet on, and I want to get it's a couple $100." And they said they'll send me a check. It's going to take like 2 weeks, but they said I could have my money right away if I set up a Coinbase and PayPal account. And he's like, "Is that a scam?" And as it turns out, it's not. He was able to set up a Coinbase account, and they sent him Bitcoin, and then from and he connected his Coinbase and PayPal so that he could cash out his holdings directly to PayPal, and he had his money within a couple hours, right, in his bank account or his PayPal account, which I don't. From there, he probably either spent it in PayPal or he could transfer it into his wallet. So there are some companies where they kind of force you to accept Bitcoin, right? They'll say, "Hey, if you want your money now, you should, take Bitcoin." So you could do the same thing as a human to human. You could say, "Hey, I'll do some work for you, but I'd like to be paid in Bitcoin." And they might say, "Well, I don't know anything about Bitcoin." You say, "Well, all you got to do is set up a free Coinbase account, buy some Bitcoin, and then use that Bitcoin to pay me." Yeah, you're going to make them jump through a few hoops, but you're going to get paid in Bitcoin, and you're going to teach one other person how to actually own Bitcoin in the real world to a certain extent, right? They're not actually going to, they probably won't set it up their own wallet, but they'll open a Coinbase, they'll buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, and they'll send it to you, right? Gives them a little practice in there, right? So you could ask people to pay you in Bitcoin for things that you do, or Ethereum, or Litecoin, or Monero, or whatever, right? So, but a lot of people, when we talk about cryptocurrency, will say your own keys, your own Bitcoin, right? If it's not your keys, it's not your Bitcoin, which means you should only hold crypto in your own wallets, which I highly advocate. But this is the thing. In the real world, if you want to spend your Bitcoin, you need to find some kind of interface that allows you to spend your Bitcoin in the real world. And I've got the Crypto.com app. I've talked about it before. I'm not going to go deep into it tonight because I got some other apps I'll tell you about. But it's a really great way, to spend your Bitcoin in the real world. So if I want to top up my MCO Visa card with any of my holdings that I have, there are about 4 or 5 different cryptocurrencies I can use directly to top up the card. Any of the others I could trade for, right? I could sell my XRP for, I think they'll take XRP, but whatever, right? I could take my, and I don't really have much in here tonight anyway, so we're not going to talk too much about Crypto.com tonight. But let's say, okay, I could take my Dash, sell it for Bitcoin, and then use that to top up the card, right? And you can see there, the card only at the moment has only $4.92. That's because I don't want to. I'd like to let it ride, right? I want to hold that Bitcoin in my account so that if Bitcoin goes up, the value of my holdings goes up, right? Once I top up the card, it becomes cash, right? So I usually I try to keep about 20 or 30 bucks in there as a rule. I'm a little light tonight. But then when I want to buy something, I can sell whatever crypto asset I happen to have that is on here. Now, if I don't have it in here, I can transfer it from my own wallet in like an emergency. But let's move on. And that's a great way to spend crypto in the real world. I could even take this card into an ATM and cash out, right, within a minute, right? Let's say I've got 0.5 Bitcoin in my crypto.com account and Bitcoin skyrockets to 20 grand. I could sell 0.25 of that, get 10 grand, and throw it on that card and go to the ATM. Of course, ATMs have limits, so I probably wouldn't be able to get all 10 grand out of there, but I could go buy a diamond ring worth 10 grand, right? Because it works like a Visa card. But let's talk about Cash App tonight. I wanted to talk about Cash App because Cash App has a new card, very similar to the Crypto.com app. And it came in the mail today. I haven't checked the mail. I could run it out there and grab it. I might. But I haven't set it up yet, right? So Cash App has a card, and I'm assuming it works like a Visa card, right? So let's take a look at Cash App. Now, Cash App is a pretty mainstream app that you can use to send money to your friends. Anybody else that has the Cash App, you can send them cash instantly. Pretty cool. Like when you're in a restaurant or you owe them some money or whatever. But not many people realize that you can use the Cash App to actually buy Bitcoin, right? So you go down there to that little squiggly line there where it says investing, right? And then where it says stocks, over to the right, it says Bitcoin. I'm just going to hit Bitcoin, right? And then I'm going to tell them how much Bitcoin, how much Bitcoin do I want to buy, right? Well, let's hit buy. And let's buy, let's buy 20 bucks worth of Bitcoin, right? You don't have to be a high roller to play with Bitcoin, right? Let's hit 20 bucks worth of Bitcoin. We'll hit next. And I confirm that. And lo and behold, I got 20 bucks worth of Bitcoin. Pretty cool. Pretty low fees. What did they say? Their market price of Bitcoin is 94. It's about the same as we saw on crypto. Coin market cap. Right? Current price of Bitcoin is about 9,400. This guy is telling me it's 94.16. Cash App. So pretty close. Some people claim that Cash App has a higher market price than Bitcoin, and that's how they reap their rewards from you. That's how they screw you, right? But anyway, I think their fees are pretty low compared to Coinbase. So pretty cool. Now we can go back over here to the home, right? And it says zero cash available, but I have 20 bucks in Bitcoin in my Cash App, right? So what can I do with that? Well, I can withdraw that Bitcoin if I want to. So why don't we do that? Let's use our Ledger. We'll go to Ledger Live. We'll go over to our accounts. And we'll go down to my Bitcoin native SegWit. Right? And we want to do a secure generation of a new Bitcoin address. Right? Echo, turn off plant light. Echo, turn off plant light. That purple reflection there. Oh, it's so dark over there. All right. Let's get out of the Ethereum app, right? I'm in the Ethereum app, so I'm going to just hit till I get to quit. All right, and there we go. Now I'm going to go back one to the Bitcoin app, and I'm going to enter the Bitcoin app. I'm ready to go. I'm going to do a receive. I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to hit continue one more time. And one more time, I'm going to hit continue on my screen. Notice I'm not doing anything on the device. The address just appeared. All it wants me to do now is verify it. So I'm going to hit that little arrow is telling me to hit this one button. Move it over to approve, and then hit both buttons. Right? Both buttons, and then I've approved it. Now I'm going to leave that on my screen because I'm going to use that to send the Bitcoin from the Cash app. So let's do that. That's what's cool about the Cash app, is it's very easy to send Bitcoin. I'm going to move this guy over here. Move this guy over here. Right? Let's do withdraw Bitcoin. I'm sort of blocking it, but not totally, right? I'll hit withdraw Bitcoin. Right? How much do I want to withdraw? I'm going to just slide that slider all the way over. I can withdraw my 20 bucks worth of Bitcoin, which is pretty cool, because some cryptocurrency exchanges have like a limit or a minimum, right? So I don't know, maybe 5 might be. But anyway, I can do 20. So I'm going to hit withdraw. Now it's automatically providing me with the camera, and it wants me to scan a Bitcoin address. I could hit enter manually, but I don't need to, right? I've got a Bitcoin address on my computer screen. So I'm just going to lift up my phone to that Bitcoin address, right? And there it is, right? We can eyeball it to make sure it's the same one we see on the screen. Then we'll hit confirm. And it wants my PIN. I'll move this over here so you don't see my PIN. Not that it's any big secret. All right. And now I've initiated the withdrawal, and I can tap done. So bought 20 bucks worth of Bitcoin and then moved it into my own wallet in less than a couple minutes, right? And let's go over here, and we'll just we'll do a sync, and there it is. Boom. Can't beat that, huh? A little less, but sometimes market fluctuations. There was a little fee, not a huge fee, and there was some blockchain fees, but I didn't take a huge hit just by moves. It's $19.78 worth of Bitcoin in my own wallet right now. When you are holding your Bitcoin in the Cash app, they're the custodians, right? They're holding it on your behalf, right? It shows up in your app. It's probably, pretty safe, but it's not really your Bitcoin until you've moved it into your own wallet. Now, but here's the thing. If I get this card, right? Whoops. We'll see. If I use that card in the real world, then I can load I could take some, like, if I had 300 bucks worth of Bitcoin in my Ledger Live, I could load that $300 worth of Bitcoin into my Cash app, right? Because if we go to Bitcoin, there's a BTC address. How do you do that? Oh, deposit Bitcoin, right? There's my Bitcoin address for my Cash app. So I could send Bitcoin into the Cash app and then use it to buy things with their card, right? Now what I would do is I would most likely just keep it stored in my Cash app as Bitcoin. So that $20 Bitcoin might be worth 25 next week when Bitcoin breaks 10 grand, right? And then when I'm ready to buy something, then I would use it to load their card. They have a physical card, which I haven't set up yet, that I can use in the real world to spend my Bitcoin, right? So that's another cool way to spend your Bitcoin in the real world using the Cash app. Now there's also Uphold. Uphold is another cryptocurrency-based wallet slash exchange, right? This is a custodial wallet. When you hold crypto in Uphold, they are pretty much managing it for you, right? But they also have a card, a physical card. So here we go. We've got crypto.com. There's Crypterium is another company that has a cryptocurrency type app that you can, and a physical card you can use in the real world. Cash App has just recently added a physical Visa card that you can use in the real world. And now Uphold has added this real world card that you can use to spend your crypto in the real world. Now, the Cash App only does Bitcoin, as far as I know. I don't think it will hold anything else, right? Right, it's only Bitcoin. Now, but Uphold is more flexible. Uphold can do several different types of cryptocurrencies. I don't know, I'm not too... Yeah, it can. You can hold all kinds of different cryptocurrencies in your Uphold wallet. It's similar, more similar to the crypto.com app, right? But they're kind of a payment processing type company that is dipping their toes into the crypto world. And now they've added this physical card that you can use to buy things in the real world. So pretty cool. So let me check out what's going on in the comments. Every now and then there's a hater or a spammer or whatever you want to call it. And I'm not paying attention. Yeah, I got to talk to Echo all the time. All right, so let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to your phone to try to increase your privacy, but you're pretty much a goner if you're using an iPhone. I don't know. Hey, there it was, confirmed on the blockchain. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, having a smartphone, I mean, there's a lot of things you might want to go out of your way to do to enhance your privacy slash security, but you're also going to impair the functionality of the device. When I'm on the road, I use my phone to help me find places, right? I connect my phone to my USB port in my car, and I run Google Maps, and I, tap my dashboard, touch screen, and there's a little microphone there, and it's like destination, and I say, the nearest Shell station, right? And it'll tell me, and I tap it, and it takes me there, right? I want that, right? I want, when I search from my phone, and I'm looking for ice cream, I don't want it to give me ice cream in New York. I want it to give me ice cream in my neighborhood, right? So this is a functionality of the phone. Depends on its location awareness, and a lot of these conveniences that we use our phones for need that connectivity. So there's going to be a little trade-off. Now, though, I know there are special phones, and I don't know if I have that website anymore. I can find it. Yeah, it's been a while. Is this it? I believe this is it. Yes, this is it, gang. Let me put this in the... now this is if you are like one off the grid... Oh, wait. Let's go back up here. Yeah, I'm going to put it right under the article that I put in there for Shah. Right? This is privacy-based. And OS. I'll save that. So they have these laptops that are preloaded with their OS. They have this secure key that's preloaded with their OS. They've got this Librem 5 USA, which is one of the only phones that gives you like total privacy to a certain extent, right? Not cheap, right? For security enthusiasts and enterprise. So if you're really looking for security, you're gonna really have to go full bores, right? There are some things you can do on your phone to prevent being tracked, but I don't know. A lot of people freak out when they find out how much location data your phone collects, right? But they want to know where the nearest coffee shop is, right? So, but they don't make the connection between the two. So anyway, I'm just saying, right? There's functionality that is enabled by all of this location and tracking device. And if God forbid you get kidnapped, or you crash your car into a tree in the middle of a snowstorm, people can figure out where you're at, right? If your loved ones don't have location apps to identify you, they can call the cops. The cops can get your phone number and triangulate your location. So in many ways, that's a good thing. There are a lot of scenarios where it's good that your phone is a tracking device. And then there are other times where it's bad. If coins... I think Shah's mentioning something about the Ledger Nano S recently updated their firmware to version 6, I think. I forget what the version number is. But, yeah, 6.0. The interface is much more like the Ledger Nano X than the old interface. The old interface was even worse, right? Now, the two interfaces are a little more unified, right? The way that the interface works. But you have to make sure you upgrade to the latest version of the firmware, and you can do that in Ledger Live. All right, cash owned, operated by Square, works for me. I also have their debit card, get an email every time I use it. Yes, that's cool. So EKS is telling us that the Cash App card is cool because it gives you an alert every time you use it. Same with Crypto.com card, right? Every time you use the Crypto.com card, it gives you an email alert and a phone alert. Or for me, I've got them enabled. And then I can check the app and it shows me exactly how much I spent, where I spent it, and everything. So I like that. Most cards don't do that, right? They might send you an email if it's suspicious, but they don't, by default, alert you every time you use their cards. I like this new paradigm, right, where I know exactly, I can see exactly how much I'm spending, when I'm spending it, where I'm spending it, right? I think that's pretty cool. All right, let me see. I hope I didn't miss any questions. I sent some CMT tokens to my Atomic wallet, ETH wallet, but at that time, CyberMiles had their own chain, so I never saw those found on my wallet. It's possible to get my founds back. It's possible, but tricky, Zoud Ufri. I've done it before, but it's not something for the faint of heart, right? And I don't know on the Atomic wallet. I believe it's a 12-word. You can go to BIP. You can go to BIP39 tool. All right, and so you would switch to a 12-word, right? And then you would enter the 12-word recovery phrase for your Atomic wallet, right? And then you hit generate. You don't hit generate. I hit generate so I would get a random one, so I could show you what I'm talking about. you wouldn't hit generate. You would actually write in the 12 words that came with your atomic wallet, right? When you set up your atomic wallet, you wrote down those 12-word recovery phrases. If you sent that CMT to your Ethereum wallet in your atomic wallet by mistake, you might be able to recover them using this little technique, right? So I'm just going to generate a random one. Now, we go down here to coin and we choose Ethereum. ETH. Right? And then you're going to get this root key. And you can use, I believe it's that key, or the account extended private key. I think it's the same thing. Right? No, different. I believe it's this one. Any one of those keys. Now you can use this key. I don't know why it looks so weird. Maybe it's this. So you're gonna have to do some experimentation. But then you would take that private key and get yourself a CMT wallet. A real CMT wallet. A CMT only wallet. No. Sorry, coin. Oops. This is for advanced users only. Oh, come on. All right, let's go with CMT. Oh, this is it. Cyber Miles. Pardon me. All right. So let's go to their website. All right. Now what you want is their wallet. Where is it? Okay, let's try Cyber Miles wallet. Lord God. Okay, I believe that's it. Okay, so you would download this on your phone, right? Let's see. I don't know that I have it. Let's look here. All right, there it is. Oh, I guess I do have it on there, right? All right, so what you would do once you've got this wallet is you would take this wallet and see that import, right? And then you would, I don't believe it would work with the mnemonic key, right? Because the mnemonic key, the 12-word mnemonic key is for the atomic wallet. I think what you have to do is extract that key by using your atomic wallet 12-word recovery phrase and choosing Ethereum. You're generating that Ethereum private key. And using that Ethereum private key, I believe the CMT wallet will import the CMT that you sent into that atomic wallet by mistake. That's the best I can do. But some words of caution, right? First of all, you don't want to do this thing when you're online, right? There's an offline way to do this, right? Down here at the bottom, it says offline usage. It gives you instructions. You want to download this app. It runs in a web browser, but you can run it with the computer disconnected from the internet. So you would do that offline to generate that key. It'll still generate the key for you, right? Because that 12-word recovery phrase that you're using, that you're putting here from your atomic wallet, has all your other coins associated with that atomic wallet. You don't want that exposed to the internet, right? If you want to play it totally safe, you would empty all the coins out of that wallet, except the Ethereum, and then do this offline. And then when you do this part, you got to be kind of careful when you do this part, because you're also kind of exposing your private key onto the internet, right? So you would try to find a way to cut and paste that long key, like email it to yourself, or I mean, see, any way you slice it, you're gonna expose that key to the internet in some way or form, right? You could, I don't know, because typing it in is going to be real pain. But if you could figure out a way to get it onto your phone and like paste it in here, right here, see where it says private key up there? Boom. That's what you want. And use that Ethereum private key that you generated. And hopefully you'll get back that CMT. Now, if we're talking $50 worth of CMT, you might want to, not want to go through all this. If you're talking $500 worth of CMT, maybe it's worth it. All right. But I can't, kids, don't try this at home. Okay, here we go. Rex, go in iOS, go to settings, privacy, locations. Okay, here we go. See, I knew someone knew where this was. Privacy, where did I go? Privacy. Did I lose it? Come on, Rex, where is it? Oh, here we go. Privacy, location. Oh, okay, there we go. All right. And then Ledger Live. I still don't see Ledger Live in here. Let's look carefully one more time. It's not in alphabetical order if it is in there. I do not see Ledger Live in here. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember it ever asking me for location data. But I'm assuming that when you go into it in your Android, that it's there, right? I'm assuming. Yeah, I don't see that Ledger Live is set up for any kind of location awareness. But I don't know what, and I'm using it on my phone. I use it. Interesting. I'll still check into it and see if it does ask you if it can use your location when you're setting it up and what they want with that data and how it's used and that kind of thing. Because that would concern me a little. How to send a US dollar coin from Coinbase Pro to a Ledger Nano S. I don't believe Ledger Nano supports US dollar coin. But let's just double check. You can always go up here and go to ledger.com, go to crypto assets and search for what happened here? They've changed this. Here. US dollar coin. US dollar coin. What? Oh. Okay. All right, there it is. Okay. So let's do a quickie. Let's go to our ledger. We've got the device connected. I'm going to disconnect the S because we're going into Ledger Manager. I don't want two of them connected at the same time. I need to get out of my Bitcoin app. Quit. Right, I'm at the home screen. Let's go into Manager. Whoops. Right, it's going to ask me to allow Ledger Manager. I'm going to hit both buttons to allow this. Let's try US dollar. Is that it? I don't think so. KUSD? No, I think they're assuming that it's a ERC20 token, right? Yeah. I'm not so sure that the US dollar token on crypto Coinbase Pro is an ERC20 token, but we can you can test it. So basically, what you would do would be to you go to your crypto Coinbase Pro, self logged in. Oh dear. All right. Autofill that. You use your two-factor on your Coinbase. The Coinbase and the Coinbase Pro use the same Google Authenticator code. They're basically the same account, just sort of different. Same. You log into your Coinbase Pro account with your credentials on your Coinbase. All right, so let's just assume that I did have. I don't know that I have anything on here that I could trade for US dollar coin. Actually, I think I have USD. Eek. Okay. So I have US dollar, but I don't think that's enough to sell. But let's just assume that I did in my, well, it says portfolios. Now, it used to say wallet. I guess it's down here at the bottom, right? Where is it? Oh, that's it. US dollar coin. Okay. Convert to US. Oh, will that work? Will they let me do that? Oh, cool. All right. So there's our US dollar coin. Let's, and mine is very small amount. So let's just go over to our ledger accounts. We'll go to Ethereum. And I want to add US dollar coin. So I'll just click add token. And we'll do US dollar coin, USDC. All right, we'll hit continue there. I need to be in the Ethereum app on my device. All right. So I'll just move over to Ethereum, hit enter. Always look at what the screen is telling you. All right, we'll hit continue there. We'll hit continue. There's the US dollar coin address, right? And I'm going to verify on the device to finish this up. All right. Now we'll go back over here to Coinbase Pro. I'm just going to withdraw it all. Now, if you've got, whoops, sorry. If you've got $500 worth of US dollar coin, then only withdraw a few dollars, right? There, withdraw. All right. And let's withdraw the max. And I'm going to put that, my US dollar coin address, right? I hit withdraw, put in my code for Coinbase. Where's Coinbase? There it is. Hit withdraw. Hopefully, oh, that was fine. Yeah, I was worried that it was going to tell me, oh, it's too small. So it did it, right? And I can look over here at withdrawals, and it'll tell me that there's the address that I sent it to, right? And we can go over here, right? And then let's do a sync. Usually Ethereum withdrawals move pretty fast, considering. That was weird. It's not. It hasn't shown up yet. It would show up here, and see. You'll notice that it hasn't shown up here in my list of coins yet either. So let's just be patient. I might have lost $9, but I doubt it. There it is. All right, so it just came in. No, that's not right. Oh, that was earlier today. Sorry. I was like, hey, look, there it is. No, that's not it. Hey, it magically turned to $60. No, that's not it. US dollar coin. It's not Tether. USDC. That's kind of weird. Let's give it a few minutes. It'll probably show up. Now, it might not show up right away because sometimes exchanges take a bit of processing, right? And I'm probably at the bottom of their list because it's only $8. But what'll happen is it will show up in the Ethereum wallet, and you'll notice too that if I do a receive on Ethereum, it's the exact same address, right? All of the sub tokens in this Ethereum wallet are the same address. All right. So I could have just sent it to the Ethereum address. You can send any ERC20 token to an Ethereum address. Almost. There are some very small ERC20 tokens that are not supported in Ledger Live, so they wouldn't show up. But like any major ERC20 token, like BAT, or, you know, it's going to show up. What'll happen is that there'll be a new sub coin here called US dollar coin, and it'll show my balance of $8 worth, $9 worth of US dollar coin. There it is. All right. So there it is, and there it is down there on the bottom, right? US dollar coin, $8.95 worth. It's not bad. Right? And I can go into this. It's just like any other account, right? I can do send and receive. So pretty simple, not too bad. I guess it was a little confusing because it acts like an ERC20 token. I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was an ERC20 token. I thought it was on its own blockchain, but I guess it is an ERC20 token. So not too hard. All right, guys, let me sign out. Say goodnight to everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. Oh, that was cool. That worked. Yeah. There we go. All right. All right, guys. Let me see. Where are we here? Don't forget, we do this every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join me again for the live stream Friday night. You can throw out questions. I'll do my very, very best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about the price of Bitcoin. We'll talk about other coins and the news and things that you hopefully find interesting. I did not get a chance to get to the story about the TREZOR being hacked. A lot going on there. I'll try to talk about it next week. Maybe I'll do a standalone video on that. It's a very interesting article about how hardware wallets work and the pros and cons of this new hack, right? That they supposedly they did, right? Anyway, join me next week. Whoops. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me, and hope to see you again soon.